What's going on YouTube? JT is Born here, and welcome back to another Godzilla related video. In this video we're talking about the Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1 official trailer breakdown. Now, I've watched this trailer a bunch of times. This thing dropped yesterday at noon. I think it looks fantastic. Now, some people have actually had the chance to watch like the first episode, or some have actually been able to watch the first 5 episodes of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. And the results so far have been very positive. I think there's maybe like a few mixed responses, if at anything, but nothing really all downright negative from the people who have seen it. Again, that's 5 episodes so far. It's not the full 10 episode season, but with this positive word of mouth and in terms of the VFX and the quality on display here, I think we're in for a bit of a treat right here for us like Godzilla fans. So let's go ahead and watch this thing. We'll kind of stop and pause. We'll kind of break it down and see if there's anything I noticed or anything you noticed. So from what I've heard, like this show kind of makes. I think there's a few probably continuity flubs maybe, but something so kind of minor and like that really not too many people will notice unless you're kind of out there like nitpicking. I think some of the comics have been considered like soft canon, like they'll take elements from them, but not fully 100% canon. I don't exactly know, but I've kind of heard conflicting things about it. So I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see the show since I haven't seen it yet. But again, I've heard very positive things, and this trailer had, let's go ahead and watch this thing to start. So as you can see right there. Oh, look at Godzilla, look at the epic action. So this is going to be on Apple TV+. So, like, I guess one of the buildings here wasn't in 2014. But, yeah, so this is flashing back to the events of Godzilla 2014. Seeing things from a different perspective. I always kind of like that sometimes, is seeing events, like, of a movie we've seen, but from different perspectives. And then you see Monarch kind of here. Like, I like that we're kind of getting the more shadier side of Monarch, the whole government cover-up thing. Because, I mean, King of the Monsters are kind of, like, more treated as their heroes, but Monarch's done some shady stuff. And this right here looks to be a young Bill Randa with, I guess, his future wife, if you will. I can't remember. I don't know her character's name off the top of my head. But, again, some crazy conspiracy theory stuff going on. Monarch doing their things from Legendary. So this looks to be some flashback stuff. There's a young Randa. I think this is going to be the USS Lawton. And then there is the King of Cool, Kurt Russell. Expose the mystery. Yep, there's the young Shaw.
Or we can find out what really happened.
Just kind of watch this really quick.
Before it's too late.
Ooh, look at those things. Yep.
This world, it's not ours.
Kurt Russell having flashbacks to the thing, seeing a monster in the snow. There's Bill Randa, who I was surprised to see in the show, like at least John Goodman back. But they're clearly throwing the money. Like, look at this monster right here. Looks straight out of Pacific Rim.
These monsters and Monarch
have these parasitic things.
everything from me.
Yep, people don't like Monarch, which is pretty cool to see. Oh, it's got some freeze breath right there.
The world is on fire. If you want to save millions of lives, we can use some help.
Wait for it. Here he is, coming out of the ground. Oh, look at Godzilla right here. Look at this shot. Look at the effects right here for a TV show. Holy crap, the sense of scale. Yes, look at how awesome he looks. Look at, and you can see his spines right there. So I wanted to watch it really quick first, and then we'll kind of go through like frame by frame, if you will, and kind of break things down. But what a trailer! What a trailer for this streaming show. I can't wait. It's going to drop next month. I think it's going to be pretty epic. But yeah, so let's go ahead and break down this trailer, if you will. Just kind of go like step by step. Again, this is flashing back to the Golden Gate Bridge attack from 2014, but seeing this from a bit of a different perspective, if you will. So obviously her family has ties and links to Monarch. I don't know all the characters' names off the top of my head. I have to kind of look back here. But as you can see, Monarch is here in the shadows documenting everything. They kind of were aware of all this stuff that was kind of going on. And she's like, huh, well, what's the deal right here? So it's going to craft a really interesting conspiracy and kind of see how like her family ties into it and all of it's connected with Lee Shaw and all that. We have Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell playing the same character. I don't know if that's it, but I think this may even be the USS Lawton because he said, like, Randa always talked about in Kong Skull Island. This is something I know. I know for a fact we're going to actually explore, like, and find out the monster that actually sunk the Lawton. That's one thing I do know for sure that's going to be explored. I think in the second episode we're going to find that out from what I've heard. So yeah, like, even going back to the events of Kong Skull Island, there's always been some speculation that it was Godzilla who sunk the ship, and maybe that was the original intent, but this show is finally going to answer the question of, like, what monster sunk the USS Lawton, and Randa kind of went a little bit crazy over it. So there's that element right here, and as you can see, it looks like the aftermath of a monster attack right here. I don't know if this is Tokyo or something. So we got some sort of crazy creature, like, over there, some various Titan. We got some stuff right here. So this group right here looks to be hiding from Monarch, or they're kind of like trying to expose them for what they really are. And then we have her. Like I said, from what I heard, this is mostly a Monarch storyline with Godzilla appearing kind of briefly within the first couple episodes. And I guess this trailer is just encompassing the first 5 episodes, not showing anything really past that. So they're probably going to be saving a lot of monster action for later on. So, okay, so this thing probably was the thing that sunk the Lawton. And then there he is, Kurt Russell, the King of Cool. And there's some crazy stuff going on here. And then, of course, there's the young Kurt Russell, played by... or the young Lee Shaw, played by Wyatt Russell. There's his son, but as you can see right here, this looks to be the monster that sunk the Lawton. As you can see, it's got some big kind of claws right there. It almost kind of reminds me of, like, the claws of the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World. I mean, if we can kind of slow this down. Maybe I can... Oh, nope, it's not going to let me go frame by frame. But you can kind of see its claws, like, powering right here. But then we also see something like this. So I wonder if they're kind of... this is a way to kind of call Godzilla. Because Lee Shaw, or Kurt Russell, mentioned something about we're going to need some help to save the world. Because this looks to be in present time right here. At least from what I can gather. Or maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Because there's some mysterious stuff kind of in the background here. And then the same kind of desert setting is where we see Godzilla show up at the end. Very reminiscent of the original Mothra vs. Godzilla when he pops out of the ground. But here we go. We got this stuff right here. All these different, like, mysterious spots on the map look to be, like, probably some Monarch bases or places where Titans have been hidden. One thing I'm really excited to see, which is something we didn't really get to see, is the aftermath of the world finding out that monsters exist. And this show is really going to kind of deep dive and really explore every single, like, avenue I'm sure you can get with that. But also the flashback stuff, too. So, of course, we're reminded that definitely, like, Titans, like, let off some sort of radiation. They're attracted to it, as we've come to establish. And then we have this nest of, like, that looks kind of like Mutos, like the same species, but I think it's probably something a little bit different. But these almost little parasitic organisms, if you will, popping out of these eggs, and that. And, of course, right here we have something in the Arctic. And then there's Kurt Russell having flashbacks to when he was in the Thing, I'm sure, and he had to fight some sort of alien monster there. There's got to be, with Kurt Russell in this thing, and you're in the Arctic, or at least, you know, like the Arctic in some fashion, you have to have some sort of reference to the Thing. I mean, you just, it's lined up perfectly. You have to have something, I want to, yeah, well, F you too, or something like that. Just give me a cool reference to the Thing. And then we here have John Goodman. So this is during the events of Kong Skull Island when he was there, and... you know, there was still, like, I mean, some people are like, well, when did this happen in the movie? Well, there's still a large passage of time they're kind of walking that we didn't see. It's probably going to be something like when they did It in It Chapter 2. There was, like, a passage of time where the kids were kind of separated during the summer, and they all went off on their own little stories. But here we're going to get something with John Goodman. And then we have this creature here, which feels kind of very Pacific Rim-like, with its little, like, mouth right there. And you have, like, these little tendrils and all that. Now, this is going to be a pretty epic scene right here. Look at that. There's Wyatt. He's saving her life right there. I think this is probably Randa's wife, if I had to guess, or something. Because they do mention, I mean, it seems like there's some sort of Randa family connection right here that's going on here. So it looks like he had a wife and then some kids, and this may be one of his kids, or maybe his grandkid or something. I don't exactly know. But here we have something else going right here. They're in the desert. So it looks like Kiersey Clemens. They're hiding right there. There's that creature we saw in the snow before. And it looks to have some sort of freeze breath, which is something that's speculated that in Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, the Titan Shimo or whatever is going to have there. But I think this monster right here must have been the creature that... well, this is something else right here. This may have been the thing that sunk the USS Lawton, that bat-like creature. And he yells, "Run!" right there. Those are some cool glasses. I do want those glasses. So... So there we go. I think this is the creature that sunk the Lawton. And as we can see there, we have Lee, we have a young Bill Randa, and then we have her, who I'm not sure who her character's name is. Kurt Russell having flashbacks once again to the Thing. I like this Thing's design. Look at this. It's a very brief moment, but feels very Pacific Rim-like with that design. And what does he say right here? We'll go play it again.
Save millions of lives. We can use some help.
We can use some help. So as you can see here, they're back to the desert, which we were showcased earlier on. Something is coming out of the ground. Of course, we cut to Godzilla right here. But look at this shot. Look at the sense of scale right here. This stuff was flashing, but man, it's like that famous concept art of Godzilla kind of standing and lumbering over like this. Look at this shot. Look at the size and scale of this thing. And of course, they're out in the desert. They're looking, and there he is, emerging from the ground, much like the original Mothra versus Godzilla. So, boom. Epic. Epic. The only thing I don't like about this trailer is having that. Do we really? We know it's you, Apple. Like, we know it's gonna be your show. Do we really need the watermark throughout the whole trailer? I guess so. But maybe it won't be on the show. But yeah. So I'm really very much looking forward to this thing. And again, this is the first couple of episodes. I've heard a few things. It's going to be kind of crazy. It's going to jump back and forth. It's going to be more human drama focus. You know, let's end this image on Godzilla right there. Look at him. Look at the detail right here. So the dorsal plates definitely look a little bit on the in-between phase from the 2014 to the King of the Monsters design. Because if you know in Godzilla Aftershock, he kind of blows his spikes. His dorsal plates kind of implode to kind of kill the Muto Prime, if you will. And at least that's what I remember. It's been a minute since I read that. And then that damages spikes, and that's why the design kind of changes. It's kind of like a deer's antlers, you know, they kind of shift around. So Godzilla's spikes are definitely changing in between it. So they're a little bit more smaller than they were in King of the Monsters, but they're still kind of like, it's kind of a nice fusion in between the two designs. So apparently a lot of people kind of like argue back and forth about like which design is better, the King of the Monsters, like they call it the Doa Goji and the Gara Goji or whatever. He looks basically the same. I mean, just the spikes that look a little bit different. There's such minor changes to me. Like, it's not really, like, that big of a deal. I do prefer him having his spikes a little bit bigger, kind of like this design, as opposed to the 2014 designs. But, I mean, it really doesn't make much difference to me. I think they both look excellent, if you will. I mean, Godzilla just looks great. I mean, look, I said, for a TV show budget, like, for a TV show like this, they're throwing some real money at it. Now, you have to kind of tamper your expectations. This is a Monarch show. This is not Godzilla, the series, if you will. Godzilla's going to appear in this thing. He's going to have some epic moments, I'm sure. But you can't expect him to be in, like, I don't expect him to be in, like, every episode fully, like, all the time. I also predict we're probably going to get some sort of King Kong cameo. I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, you have Randa there on Skull Island. Why not include Kong in some sort of cameo fashion? Before we, of course, get the release of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. I'm very curious because this show is being released conveniently, like, right before the next movie. So I imagine we're probably going to get some sort of big connection or lead up to the New Empire. I mean, I can't, like, imagine not putting it past them or whatnot. So, but, yeah, like I said, as it stands, I think this is a really awesome trailer. I'm very much excited for it. I think it's going to be really cool. And all hail the King of the Monsters. So if you watch the Monarch Legacy of Monsters, let me, if you're at this point in the video, you watch me watching the video. But what do you think of the first full-length official trailer? Because the previous trailer was like a teaser trailer, and this is like the full-blown, in-your-face, it's trailer time. What did you think of this thing? Do you think it looks really cool? Are you excited to watch it? I've heard very good things about it. I think it's going to be a very interesting story, and I'm really fascinated by the human angle and kind of like the world building and stuff. I think this is going to be where most of the MonsterVerse world building comes from. And for a TV show, yeah, I kind of want to see that. This is going to be a little bit more grounded, a little bit more gritty, and that's great. That's great, and it makes sense because we're still kind of like pre-King of the Monsters where things started to kind of dive more so in the fantastical elements because we still kind of had a little bit more of a grounded sense, and then Godzilla vs. Kong went full-blown, like, didn't care about realism at all in that movie with the things that were going on. Like, you really feel the weight and the size and impact of the Titans. So I want a compelling human story, and I want the monster action to be good too. That's going to be the tricky balancing act with a show like this. But we have more time with the characters. This is the first, well, it's technically not the first live-action Godzilla series in a way. Live-action series with Godzilla in it. You got to go back to Zone Fighter. But calling this thing Monarch Legacy of Monsters, the focal point is on Monarch. We're going to see some of their shady tactics that we didn't really get the chance to see in the other movies so much, because King of the Monsters, Monarch was kind of like at the forefront of things. We kind of already passed all that stuff. and Skull Island, and Godzilla 2014. We were kind of working with Monarch, and we didn't really get to see the shady side because we were kind of rooting for some of that. So this time we're going to see more of the kind of shady, like, government conspiracy cover-up stuff that we kind of been held back a little bit from in the other movies. So I'm more looking forward to that. And Godzilla, he looks amazing. Like I said, I love the callback to Mothra vs. Godzilla, the original, how he emerges from the dirt like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And the effects look incredible. So, and plus, like I said, you have Godzilla and you have Kurt Russell in this thing. I know there's other cast members in that, but I'm a big Kurt Russell fan. I mean, Captain Ron, The Thing, Big Trouble Little China, Escape from New York, even Escape from LA is kind of fun. Overboard. He was even an awesome Santa Claus. I mean, he's Kurt Russell. He's just the king of cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Seeing two things I really enjoy in the same property. I mean, how can you go wrong? But yeah, that's all I have to say. Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.